Hey everyone, how's it going? We're gonna get started in a little bit here. Make sure you check in. Alright, in the chat I put a check-in link, so if you go there. How's everyone doing tonight? Alright, so just a little overview of what we're gonna be doing today. So welcome to the first part of the mobile app development track. So a little bit of background is this is meant for people who haven't really developed an app before, but even if you have, I'm sure you'll gain a lot of insights too. What I'm planning to use for this is Flutter. And yeah, basically it's gonna go into what Flutter is a little bit. Um, I also have, and also while y'all are like downloading dependencies, I actually did full stack app development with Flutter at a internship that I had at General Mills. So if you were to ask questions about that in the meantime, but yeah, I'll just get into it. So what is Flutter? So Flutter is by Google, and it's basically a framework for developing apps. It's multi-platform, and there's a few things that we would be using with Flutter. So Flutter is the framework. Then there's Dart, which is our front-end language. Pretty simple. And then there's Kotlin. And Kotlin is mainly the back-end language. And what I thought we could do, because there's so many like tutorials on app development out there, that because I want to add something kind of that has some other value to it, is we're going to be going through this tutorial right here. Basically, I'm going to be going through it with y'all. So we're going to go through all of the trials and tribulations with just getting it set up, but also actually learning about how to actually make an app, whether it's a Flutter app or just any kind of app. And if in chat you could just tell me about like your experience in programming or in app development. Like, have you developed an app before? I'd love to hear that, just because I kind of want to gauge the crowd here, just make sure who's attending. All right, so let's get into it. So if you wanted to get started with Flutter, there's 3 things you can do. There's one, just the Windows install. So you download this zip right here. And then there's something you can do called an editing environment variable. So if you go to if you're on Windows and you go to your search bar and just type environment variables, it should come up. Where basically you can just add Flutter as the environment variable. You basically just do it as this guy says right here. It's pretty simple. And basically, the first thing we want to do is run Flutter Doctor. So it just makes sure your Flutter is installed properly and we have all the needed dependencies. All right, someone says, hey, I don't know the Dart programming language. Would that be a problem? Absolutely not. This is a 3-part series, so that's exactly what this is meant for. So if you haven't used Flutter, Dart, or Kotlin before, that's basically what this workshop is meant for. So that's great, honestly. Just open up a command prompt. And what it wants us to do here is we basically want to cd into the directory that has Flutter in it, and then we just run Flutter here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. So we want the path to Flutter/bin specifically. So we want to cd there, and then run Flutter doctor. And since this is a new version, so I think I will upgrade. Okay, so it's downloading Dart. All right, and there it's downloading. So it's downloading a bunch of Android stuff because basically what we're going to be doing is emulating an Android device, and that's basically what we're going to be using to test our code on the mobile app. You can do that, and then there's also something called Expo, which you can use. Basically, if you've developed like a mobile app on your computer, and you have the Expo app downloaded to your phone, you can basically display what's on your computer to your phone, so you can kind of show it on a physical phone if you'd like. So accept the license. And then first, let's do this. Okay, that's on. But let me also open up Android Studio. So Android Studio is what we're going to be using to develop this. And if you don't have Android Studio, so right here, developer.android.com/studio, and you can download it right there. Right, and let's create a new Flutter project. And as I said, we'll use Kotlin for the backend. Let's see. All right. See, Flutter. Then we're just specifying here the Dart SDK path, which basically if you go to your Flutter installation, go to Flutter bin cache Dart /Dart SDK, should be able to find it. All right, and this is Android Studio. So just give an overview of this hierarchy. Basically, 99% of what you're going to be doing is in either pubspec.yaml, which is basically where we configure our dependencies, or it's in the lib tab. So here's our main Dart file right here. And also, I think I'm going to add a folder called screens, because if we're having multiple like screens to our app, I think it's good to organize it like this. And there's a few things you're going to want to do. So we have the search bar at the top right, Android. There's Android SDK. This is basically where we can add our Android installations. So I've already downloaded Android Tiramisu, and I download that one because it's the highest API level, which kind of means it's the newest. So I've installed that. And then there's something called the device manager, which I have this one right here. Just just to give you an idea of what the emulator is kind of like. Right, and here's our Android emulator. Thanks. Right, and now we have an Android. So some tools here, like there's this button where you can click back. Basically, once we run our code, it's going to just appear on the phone when we compile. But first, let's get to writing our code. We also let's also just go to this right here. Alright, and as always, if you have questions, feel free to just post them in chat. Yeah, now we're just going to be going through the Flutter guide that they just have on the Google Development website, and we'll basically just be going through that together. So, let's see. Flutter's UI toolkit. Blah, blah. Basically, we're learning the structure, how to use packages, which we use pubget for that. And using hot reload, which is actually a really good thing. So what hot reload does is basically if you made like an instantaneous change to something, so like if I was just changing like the words on the screen, for example, and I didn't want to have to like go through the whole compiling process again, they have hot reload for Flutter apps, which basically means it instantly reloads in like 7 seconds. So it just instantly adds the changes. Right. Flutter for later SDK. Yep. Alright, let me actually put my tabs a little differently. Alright, so what we have here is basically the editor on the right, and on the left is the guide. So, let's see. So, like I said, you'll mainly be editing lib. So this, I'll just rename. Just name it main. And this is basically the first, basically the hello world. So I'll basically go over what exactly this means right here. So first we have import package Flutter material.dart. Material.dart is a really common one. It's basically just a bunch of UI, some prepackaged UI elements that you can use to make your app look a lot better. Here we're instantiating a new app that we're going to run. And then right here is a widget. So widgets are basically how everything is built in Flutter. So right here we're creating a we're building a material app, and the title is welcome to title, home app bar. App bar has its own title. Let's see. It says we can reformat code without format. Okay. Oops, I set that all up. All right. Got some of these errors that we're having. Flutter hub add material. Let's see. And that material as a dependency. Okay. So So that was the issue I was having because it was saying to run it from the terminal, but I didn't want to. But here it says from Android Studio, there's actually a built-in ribbon for packages get. So at the top. Okay, there we go. So we want to add this. Get. Okay, now it's downloading materials and our dependencies. Okay, so now this error is resolved. All right. Since we don't have Dart UI, do we need to add that too? Oh. With Dart. Okay, cool. So now we have the ability to actually run it as a Flutter app. Android. And now, Android manifest.xml. Let's see how to add that. Not find it. That's weird. Okay, maybe we need to add as an environment variable. I thought I did that. Let's see here. Flutter. I'm pretty sure this is the bin folder. Okay. Okay, so it is there. Maybe we should just do command prompt that. Actually, that might be why. Okay, I might just need to restart because I should have the environment variables done just fine. It should be the same exact thing. Alright, let me just try restarting it. That may fix it. let's keep looking at this, because this is kind of weird. Because I swear I have the environment variable added, so I'm pretty sure that's not it. Here requires that. Let me try running Flutter Doctor again. Oh, this might be it. Scene dealing tools. Okay, that looks like it would probably be the issue. Flutter Doctor. Issue. Oh wait, do we literally just have to? Oh, I guess we just have to load this install it into Android Studio. Okay, so Android. Okay. Under SDK tools. Boom. Download it. Yep. Okay. So now it's downloading the tools. That makes a lot more sense. Because I was wondering, like, it's saying to run that command, but where do I run it? But if you're using Android Studio, it just has the option in there. That's kind of why I like using Android Studio, is it's really meant for Flutter, so it has a lot of the stuff built in. Whereas if you're using something a bit different, it can be a bit more messy. How y'all doing? Anyone thoroughly confused? Have any questions? This is really because I haven't used Android or Flutter much since my internship. I guess I can talk a bit about that actually. So I'm learning this along with you guys, or with you all. So if we were to put your comments in chat, we can also just like debug those like live if you want. But yeah, in terms of my internship, this is done first off. Finish. Bye. Let me run CMD. Let me run Flutter Doctor again and see. I have to accept the licenses again, but I'm pretty sure I did that. Okay, it says I have it open now. Let's get this up again. It's gonna come up with errors, but I just want to see what they are. No, this isn't gonna work yet. It just says Flutter. It's not recognized, which is very weird. Right, it says not be found. Please check transfers. Let's see. Let's try plugin. Plugins. Feature. It's installed. Let's see. It's the problem with the directory itself. That's for Mac. Cool so far, well done. Well, we haven't done a ton. It's mainly been debugging stuff, but honestly, I think it's really important because there's like a billion Flutter guides out there, right? So I want something that's actually useful to you all. So I want something where like if you're having these same issues, you can actually like follow along with me to try and solve them. All right. Let me actually just see if it's like how to create Flutter instance. See. Actually, let me variables. Let me copy this bin path again. Let me try restarting it one more time. have this figured out. Alright, so let's open up again. Actually, let me check my config real quick. Yep, the main.dart is right. So it says use Flutter. Okay, it finally worked. Okay, so now I can share with y'all what I did. So if this wasn't working for you, the reason is I had to edit my system variables, not the environment variables. Let me actually just show you. All right, so go here, edit the environment variables. No, wait. Okay, you gotta go to environment variables right here. Just type environment variables in your search bar. And then under environment variables, there's a few things here, but what I was doing before and what one of the Stack Overflow things said to do was you edit your user path. You edit and then you append your Flutter bin location here. The reason that didn't work for me is I think it only has so this is a different user on my machine. So I think like the user that this isn't the same user I'm using now. It's just I don't know, a different one. But it doesn't show like my current user as an option. So what I did is I just put it as a system variable. So in case you needed that, that's what worked for me. Let's try running this one more time. See what errors. Flutter, create. It says it's not a valid package name. The problem I'm having is it's using the directory name. Alright, so this other issue I'm having, apparently people are annoyed about it too, just on the GitHub forum. So basically what I was trying to do was I was trying to use Flutter create dot, and that's just supposed to create the android.xml file. But apparently it was saying like Global Hack Week December was not a valid name, which isn't the name of what I'm trying to create. It's just like the project name, which is weird. So I was going here, and apparently a lot of other people have the same issue. Especially this person. I'm guessing a grand total of 0 people want to use the folder name as the name for their actual project. Especially names changed and folders tend not to. Okay. Alright, it's still saying it's not valid. So let me actually go path/reference. Let me go to that path. Okay, let me actually try restarting this one more time, because what I think might be happening is, so like I mentioned, there's that issue people are having where it's using like the project name as like a package name in Flutter, which is not how it's supposed to work. So I was checking if in pubspec.yaml, like the name of my app matches the name of my project, and it didn't because I used a hyphen in my project, like Global Hack Week /December or -December. But theirs was Global Hack Week or GHW_December. So I was trying to edit that. For some reason, it isn't like simple to edit when it should be. Let me put this back on screen. Yeah, like, well, now it says, it says underscore, but mine says dash. So we've got a project structure. This says underscore. Oh, wait, maybe I have to change this name? Not still saying. Okay, so it changed here, but didn't change here, which is weird. Can I just like copy this? Because apparently you can't just like copy it. So let me just go in. Let me just exit out of this. Okay, so what I did is I actually went into the Android Studio Projects folder and I edited my the name of my project to have an underscore instead of a hyphen, because for some reason I tried renaming it in like 10 different places, but for some reason it didn't actually rename it, which was weird. How y'all doing? Are you doing okay? Any questions? Any frustrations or anything like that? Yeah, and is it you can see right here, like the -December is grayed out because it doesn't exist anymore. So if I trusted, I made it. All right. Now it's underscore. Okay. That's good. Hopefully it actually works. Flutter create. Let me just do Flutter clean first, actually. See, now it works. Wasn't that so stupid? Like seriously. Oh, hold on. Actually, y'all don't see that because I forgot to share. So all I did was run. I ran Flutter clean just because I think it's good to do sometimes. Flutter create dot, and now it finally created the project. But the only reason that it didn't create it before was because I used a dash instead of an underscore, which I didn't know, because I haven't used Flutter in a minute, but I tried just going to projects like file project structure, and then oh, it has the name right here, or oh, it has the name right here. Surely just editing this changes it. I tried editing modules. None of this actually changes it. What you have to do is you actually have to go to this path, like where your Android Studio project is stored in your file system, and just change it. And then you have to restart Android Studio. But that's just so dumb that like you change it in 10 places and it still doesn't do it. That's funny. Alright. So let's open back up our Android emulator. Hopefully if y'all are having that issue too, it helps you out. Because that's just so unintuitive. Alright, cool. Let's see what errors. That's what now. Alright, it says it's running it. And just to like kind of reiterate why I think doing this is important. There we go. So y'all see this right here in the guide that we're following, right? It says create start Flutter app. You basically add this code to main.dart, which just instantiates the app, creates a widget that basically says blah 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 hello world. So should be pretty simple. And then right after this, it says just run the app. This is what you should see. Which, I mean, I understand because it's a guide, but imagine, well, I mean, you don't have to imagine because a lot of you are beginners. Like, if you're going into this and then you try to run this and it says, oh, it should just run. But then it doesn't, and you have to do 10 different things to solve it. This is why I wanted to stream this, just because, you know, that's something I'm annoyed by, is lack of documentation on error types. Anyways, let's go. There we go, beautiful. It's simple, but now it actually ran. So now we have our hello world there. And the main thing I have challenges with app development isn't actually the app development itself, because once you know how to create a certain widget, you can basically create widgets by copying what you already did and just making them look different, which is simplified, but like it's the setup that's a challenge, I think. Great, so now we're on the next step. Alright, so now we're on the same page as the guide. We have hello worlds, cool. And basically what this is doing right here is, it's basically for this example, we're basically creating a simple app using a patch called English words. and then we just need to add English words to start off. Right. I guess to just add it, but because we're using Android Studio, I think it'd be more convenient to just use pubget from pubspec.yaml. So English words 4.0.0. Should be able to pubget that. Yep, downloading English words. And then in lib main.dart, in main.dart, we set the import statement. And now basically instead of this hello world right here, we're going to change it to utilizing English words. So instead of that, we'll create a new child that's some text. As Pascal case. So let me just send this file. If I just do that, what does it do? Okay, so that worked. What I had before didn't. Let's see why. So package words aren't. So the only difference I can see between what I did and what they did is, well, they had a few comments, but that doesn't do anything. They had their English _words.dart first, which I don't understand why that would matter. But this does work. Now I have rear hour. So one cool thing about Flutter that I mentioned, hot reload. So we don't have to completely compile this again because you saw that took a while. If just hot reload, now it says gray shape. So it just pulls from all the different words, and the text is paint horse because we're using word pair, which is a function of English underscore words, and it's in Pascal case, which is capitalizing the first letter of the word, and it's a word pair, so it's just two words together. Yep. Cool. Hi, what are you going to make? Whatever y'all want, honestly. Basically, we're going to be going through the Flutter, I guess the Flutter guide on flutter.dev. But after that, I'm kind of looking for y'all for suggestions. Like, I don't know, if y'all want to learn how to make a specific type of button, if y'all want to make a certain kind of layout, or if y'all have like an app you think is cool that you want to like try and recreate, we could do that too. Yeah, as for now, we're just creating the base of the app through the guide. Oops. Yep, now we're adding a stateful widget. And just go over stateful widgets. Basically, there are two types. There's stateful widgets and stateless widgets. Stateless widgets are immutable, so you can't change them, which means we don't really want them here. So we want a stateful widget, meaning that we can change them. And I'm going to be using something called random burns. So I don't know if this is in Visual Studio Code, but it's in Android Studio. I know it's stateful or STFUL. If you have that, boom, it adds all this code, which is basically the layout for adding a stateful widget. And then I want the name to be words. Huh. Stateful widget, yeah. So it should automatically update. Guess they want us to use just super.key. Okay, so it's just, I guess just it's a different way of doing what they already had. Huh. It should auto add this. I'm not sure why it isn't. Basically, this is all we want. We have a class called random words. It's basically a new stateful widget. And it's building a container. And right here is what we want to update with what we actually want it to do. So instead of like turning a container, just create another word pair. Word pair at random, so it's just a random word pair, and then returning basically what we had before. Returning word pair dot as Pascal case. Oh wait, can I change this? All right, so basically, so we have random words, which you might be saying, well, this is basically what you already had. But this is one of the cool things you can do with widgets is, so we had hello worlds. So let's just create a new child. But instead of using the text word pair as Pascal case, yep, and we can see that it does the exact same thing. So this is good if you have a lot of code, basically just using a function like any other programming language. But now what we're going to try and do is we're basically just going to create, so we have this word pairing right here, strong bride, dear car, basically going to be, creating a list of those kinds of word pairings. ahead. And here we're basically editing random word states. Oops. Basically editing this right here. So we have some padding right here, just like in CSS. So basically generating suggestions, and then basically generating 10 words. And then there's something called the list tile, which is a type of material in Flutter. So basically we have a tile with the text, which is basically using as Pascal case like we were before. And then it's having these suggestions, just list 10, and then a bigger font. So what we did is we created a variable in the build method, which is _ bigger font, and it basically just changes the font size. So it's an easy way to just like, if we want one thing to have a bigger font size than a different thing, we can do that. Oops. And then we're going to be changing the My App implementation right here. So we have so it's basically what we had before, just more minimalized. So it's easier to read also. We basically have the body, which we have the child, which is random words, once again. And we have random words, which is using the state we created, random word state. The Issue. What I want to do is kind of refactor the code. Oh. Reformat code. Okay. That should fix it. Whew, there we go. How y'all doing? Probably gonna end in around 20 minutes or so. But yeah, hope you're enjoying. Just a little preview on what we're gonna do coming up. So we have the part 2 and then the part 3. Excuse me, later on in the week. And then we have there's actually a Pokemon Showdown tournament, which I'm really excited for. If you haven't played Pokemon before, completely fine. But it's basically really going to be pretty cool because we're using some of the new Gen 9 Pokemon. Let's see. What? Why is it doing it in debug? That's kind of weird. Hey, just got in. What are we building? Honestly, whatever y'all want. So basically, right now we're focusing on beginner stuff. So we're making like the base of an app. So we're creating kind of an example tutorial app just to show people like how to create like a simple Flutter app. And then kind of in the part 2 and 3 of this workshop series, I'm going to be taking on suggestions of like what kind of stuff people want me to make. So like if there's like a particular technique you want to learn, like, oh, how to make this kind of style of app. Or if like you find an app online and you're like, oh, that's really cool, I want to learn how to like make this element they used. Like we can kind of try to recreate like a page of an app or something. So yeah, I mean it's pretty open, honestly. Yeah, like I mentioned on Friday. Let me double check actually. Yep, Friday 2 to 3 p.m. EST is the Pokemon Showdown tournament. So we're going to be using some of the new Scarlet and Violet Pokemon. I don't play the new Pokemon games, honestly, just because I don't really think they're super challenging. I also don't have a Switch, but I do really like competitive Pokemon. So I've actually been team building a lot with the Gen 9 Pokemon, and Terrestrialization is pretty cool because it's kind of like hidden powers, but balanced. Good. Like, right. Okay, there we go. I'm not sure why it wasn't working, but that's weird. Anyway, so now we have basically what we created. So now it's a scrollable list of a bunch of words. So just to go over it again, we had the random words state, or the stateful widget, and then all we did was basically use the English underscore words package, basically create a bunch of word pairs, and then we put those word pairs in a list tile. Oops, where'd it go? Oops, there we go. Put those in a word tile, and then in our app, we just made the child random words. So, oops. How do I just pin this? Yep. So then we can hot reload. Hopefully hot reloaded. Alright, but basically we made this kind of list. What's up with all these errors? Why are you so mad at me, compiler? Like, it should have just been a pretty simple hot reload. I don't know what's doing. Okay, yeah, no, it didn't. Well, we only have a few minutes left, so I'm gonna leave it to Q&A mainly for the rest. But basically, to give you an idea of what we're gonna do next time is we're gonna be using routes. So what routes are basically, so we have this one screen right here, right? Routes are basically what allow you to, if I click like this word right here, I can have it route me to like a different page with its own set of instructions. So that's why in lib I have this folder of screens right here. It's just for when we have all our screens, we can store them there so that when we click something, we can have a guide there. We'll add some interactivity, and I'll look to you guys if you have any preferences in, like, if you want to learn like how to make a button, like, you know how sometimes when you click a button it like does a little effect, like it looks like you pressed a button. We could do that, or we could do all sorts of stuff. So just let me know next time if you have a preference on that, and we can learn how to make stuff look good. We're running this one because the hot reload didn't work. But I think I'm gonna open it now to Q&A. So first off, do y'all have any questions? And also, did y'all find this useful? Like, is there anything you think I could do differently for part 2 and 3, like that you think would be more helpful? So please let me know. I guess I could also take this time to talk about like what I did during my internship with app development. So I interned at General Mills, and I interned specifically in Blue Buffalo. So they're like the pet food brand. And basically, I created a new feature for their app, Buddies, which it's partially their like loyalty program app, but it's also like a social media thing for pets. So basically, created a new computer vision feature where for like packages of food, if you want to earn like loyalty points, instead of scanning like a QR code or like the barcode of the package, well, not the barcode, because then anyone could scan anything, but like the QR code inside of the food, instead of doing that, you just take a picture of the outside of the bag, so they can better identify like what people are buying. And then I used Flutter, Dart, and Kotlin to basically create an app. So basically, kind of a Buddies implementation of like, okay, if this were actually in the app, like what would it look like step by step? It was pretty cool. I definitely had to learn a lot during the internship. Flutter, it was definitely easy to get into, I'd say, different than some other apps, just because like how you see it here, a lot of the stuff in Android Studio is built in, so it kind of bypasses some of those things you might have to deal with beforehand. So it definitely is a lot more integrated, which I like, because it's a lot easier for kind of beginner level work. The one thing I wanted to have time to do, but I didn't because it was an internship, was like making it look really nice. I made it look nice, but I wanted to like learn more about the interactivity point. So I think that's what I'm going to be focusing on for the next 2 workshops. And give you all a timeline. There's part 2, which is 7 to 8 p.m. EST. And then Thursday, there's part 3, 5 to 7 p.m. EST. And then there's the Pokemon Showdown tournament. Oops. There we go. Let me just save. I think that's a fine place to end off. Oops, yeah, terminate. I think that's a fine place to end off. And actually, what I can do is I can show y'all a sneak peek of what I have for Pokemon Showdown if any of y'all actually play Pokemon like me. But I have a few teams that I've created. Just give an overview of some of the like kind of highlights of Pokemon that I really like. So one that I think is pretty cool is there's Annihilate. So it's basically a different version of Primeape for this game. Now it looks like pretty normal, like it just has standard stats, whatever. But it has one move called Rage Fist. What Rage Fist does is it increases in power by 50 each time you get hit. So, and I'm pretty sure this maxes out at a pretty high cap, like 300 or something else. So it's a very, very high base power move. Especially if you get hit by like a multi-hit move or something, that'd be crazy. But what I like doing for this is bulk, sub, Rage Fist, and Drain Punch, just so you can maintain some of your bulk and take multiple hits. And the main thing about Rage Fist and why it's like not trash is because if you switch out to like a different Pokemon and then you switch back in, you keep the Rage Fist boost. So this persists throughout the whole game. It's not like you lose your stacks like upon switching out, which I think is really interesting. And then Hama is really interesting. So again, doesn't look too like interesting on the outside, but it has one move which is like absolutely crazy to me. A Revival Blessing. All it does is 1 PP. It revives a fainted Pokemon to 50%, which is crazy because you can use Lepa Berry Lepaberry restores 10 PP to the first move that reaches 0. So basically you have 2 free revives on your team, which no other move in the game does this, aside from something called Healing Wish, which basically you faint your own Pokemon, and the next Pokemon you bring in is fully healed. But it doesn't like revive them, it's only if they're damaged. So this is absolutely crazy to me. So that's very fun. Another like big thing I'm a fan of is Tank Chomp. So if y'all have ever played with Garchomp before, if you've ever played Gen 4 where it's like Cynthia, we fight her, her Garchomp is crazy. It has a really high base speed, really good attack, so it's like very offensive usually. But what I like running is Tank Chomp because it actually gets spikes, which is really cool. I like running Earthquake and Tail. Max, HP, defense. And then let's run Impish. So basically what this does is you can have hazards like Stealth Rock, Spikes. So basically when the next Pokemon in your opponent, like if your opponent switches out their Pokemon to something else, they get hurt when they switch in. So it's like a hazard. So those apply to, so Spikes, you can have multiple laser spikes, max 3, and Stealth Rock is just something you can have on your opponent's field. And then Dragon Tail forces the target to switch out. So if you Dragon Tail, they have to switch out and they take the chip from Spikes and Stealth Rocks. And also, if your opponent switches out, so say they have Annihilate Belt, they swap to Palmot, if they switch out to Palmot and you Dragon Tail on the same turn, they switch to Palmot, Palmot takes the chip, Palmot switches out because you Dragon Tail them, they switch out to Annihilate or something, and then Annihilate takes chips. It's actually really cool, I think. It's basically just Roar. What's another interesting one? Oh. So Iron Thorns is really cool to me. Iron Thorns, basically, it's kind of like a T-Char, a different version of it. So it has an ability called Quirk Drive, and basically what that does is if your highest, basically if you have Booster Energy active, which it's just an item, it's a one-time use, your highest stat gets a 1.3 times boost, or if it's speed, it gets a 1.5 times boost. So it's like a one-time boost when you switch in, but when you switch out, it goes away. So what I like doing is Dance with Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, and EQ. So you have really good coverage there. Max attack, speed. So basically when you switch in, you get the attack boost, and if you Dragon Dance once, you like can basically kill everything. It's great. Let's see, what are some other cool ones? Because like there's obviously a lot of broken stuff, but I want to show off some stuff that's like interesting. Oh, Goldango. So what Goldango does is it's Steel Ghost type, which is really good. Good stats all around. But its ability, this Pokemon is immune to status moves. That is insanely overpowered. Like immune to status moves? That's like so many moves. So I would just run an all-out attacking set on that. Oh, also with Garchomp, what I like doing is, so if you have a Pokemon that just like, say an opponent comes in and they keep like, so say they have Glamora, and then they just Mortal Spin. So basically, they Rapid Spin or Mortal Spin basically clears hazards from your side of the field. So what I like doing is you can either run Ghost, so if you get like Rapid Spin, like it just doesn't hit you because you're immune, or you can do Steel for Glamora specifically. So now you're Tear-type Steel. So now their Poison Mortal Spin doesn't hit you, so you just win. So that's something really cool. Maz Hold, I think, is interesting. I just don't think it's super good. So there's a move called Population Bomb. So hits 10 times, each time can miss. So it's 20 power, not great, but 10 times 20 is 200, so it's actually crazy. It also has Technician, so moves of 60 power or less have 1.5 times power, so it'd be 30. 30 times 10 is 300 power, and you can run wide lens, so basically you have a really good chance of hitting all 10, basically. So basically hit a 300 power normal type move, which is actually 450 because it has stab bonus, because you're normal type. It basically goes to 450 base power. And if you actually let me just open up the calc. Let me do Skarmory. So Skarmory is just a defensive Pokemon. It's a skill type, so it resists normal moves. So Moss Hold. So if we use Population Bomb, and it hits 10 times like base, it does like 20% nothing. But if we do Wide Lens, let's do that. Huh, you might not have added the Terra type calculator, but anyway, if you did Terra into normal, you basically get a double stab boost, so now for 300, it's 600 base power, which is crazy. Yeah, you can also tell when people are mad confused because a lot of you probably don't play Pokemon, so this probably means nothing to you. But anyway, this is the end of today's workshop, so thanks so much for coming. Like I mentioned, tomorrow we're gonna have part 2, Friday we're gonna have part 3 of the mobile dev workshop, then Thursday is gonna be the mobile dev workshop part 3, which is the final one, and then Friday is the Pokemon Showdown tournament. So if y'all have ideas like, oh, I want you to like recreate this, how this app looks that I think is really cool, like message me in the next part, and we can kind of go over it. And if you have like debugging issues or like issues like of that nature, feel free to let me know and we can solve it live on stream. So thanks so much for coming, and yeah, looking forward to seeing y'all in part 2 and 3.